What's up, Kenra? It's Lo here, your Kenra Color Ambassador, and I have Devin here. We are looking to bring some beautiful light golden balayage ribbons into her hair aesthetic. So I'm so excited to approach this with you. And what we're going to really focus on and build an intention around is face framing, as we are going to be working on her beautiful little widow's peak. She has a really unique hairline, but so does all of our clients. No one client has the exact same hairline front to back as the next. So we're gonna build some intention around how to approach and customize per client, and in her case she has a very beautiful sweetheart, so we're gonna work the color into that as we give her an overall buttery blonde effect. Let's get her sectioned. Looking at Devin's hairline, we have a lot of opportunities to just create beautiful balance. We can see how she has a sweetheart, and then we have a recession just beyond the temple, and then we have these little peaks on the side. So what my mind wants to do is fill in highs and high points where these peaks are. So I'm looking to create a peak in here, just beyond that in here, and also in here. So we don't have to like blow out the front of her hairline to create a money piece, when we can just accentuate where her hairline wants to come in and out. Like many of my applications, I'm gonna start over the right ear, and I'm gonna take this section into my hand, and I'm going to look at where I want the high point to be. And I have to my right a bowl of blue powder lightener plus 30 volume. We're creating a 2-point pattern where there's two distinctive ribbons that merge together lower in the section. This is going to create a very subdued flood of color as we work section to section. So in this next section, as I'm looking at it, I'm gonna hold it pretty taut, comb through all the little baby hair, and decide where I wanna lay in the color. I have these two pieces, and I think it would be really pretty to anchor a ribbon here and here to complement that. So now we're in the front. She has a little bit more hair on this section than she has over here. I'm not going to overthink that. I'm just going to do what intuitively feels right. So when you drop this piece down, what we want to create is symmetry between this point, this shorter layer, and then this long gradual layer. We want it all to like work in harmony with the whole face frame. And then as she wears her hair back, I'm gonna see a connection between this point and this recession, as well as this point here. So it's kind of a tall order. We wanna be able to balayage 3 points all at once. So this means I'm gonna be working in pretty tight sections so that I can navigate, because as you work your way around the tension of each section, you can create buckling if I'm like all the way out here. So what I'm going to be doing is laying in the points that I want to create, and then slowly bringing the color out to connect it to what we've already done. So now that I've laid these 3 ribbons on each side of the section, I'm now going to bridge those all together. And this is a perfect time to get a little piece of cotton. I can see on this side here where I've laid in color, so I'm going to like just take this piece and have it sit where I've already put lightener. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm just going to create a mirror image, and this is gonna be so satisfying to see in the finish. When you're doing 3-point balayage, you definitely want to be as clean and intentional as possible. And I feel like it was in our best interest to wedge some cotton under there. Now, before moving into like the back sections, I do have this little pocket of hair that I do need to address. She has a little bit more hair naturally on this side, so I'm just gonna make sure that this piece gets its due attention as we work into the rest of her design. Right now, we're taking from bottom to top, from ear to crown, some diagonal partings and laying the balayage in a heavy diagonal panel. And this is just going to reset her color because she has a lot of layers that we're seeing and want to build connection in the final look. And then we have a lot of pockets of washed out blonde that we want to incorporate in. In Devin's interior, we want to work from bottom to top, and we want to connect all the different tones that we're seeing in her hair. So we have some natural that we want to incorporate into her pre-lightened hair, but we also want to lift through some of the old blonde so that we have an overall light, cohesive look. So that's why we're using this sectioning, and that's why we're using pretty bold singles, because it's not quite a panel and it's not a single ribbon. So we're just creating a hybrid to customize and incorporate all the colors that she has in her base for one uniform end result. Now that we're at the underneath, if I were to miss this little section here, in the final reveal, she would have a warm pocket over each side of the front of her shoulders. So when you're looking at your client's hair, you want to make sure that you're accounting and strategizing for the full end result. So I'm going to take this section and over direct it towards me and sweep the color directly onto the underneath. These are our beautiful results. I'm so stoked. We let Devin's hair process for about 45 minutes. And again, with the 30 volume developer, this was like the perfect timing because it was able to lift enough and still maintain like a soft, healthy integrity of the hair while making her this beautiful, warm, melty blonde. We actually didn't shadow root her at all. This is the product of 9PV all over, and you can see with balayage, if you're really skillful with your hand and you blend your transitions, you don't need to shadow root. This came out so beautiful. Let's look at a little bit closer to the 3D hairline. As you can see, as I pull back her hair, it literally looks like little girl hair color, which is what we love. And it looks so natural because it lends to her hairline. And when you let the color go, it's connected to the top money piece really seamlessly. This just came out so beautiful. It was actually very effortless to create this for her. Again, we were connecting the top pieces to the interior with these beautiful bold single placements in here. And as you can see, it just came out so soft and effortless. And it's just really beautiful in contrast to her natural base. So we love it. If you love this tutorial, trust me, there is so many more where that came from. Hit subscribe to the Kenra Professional YouTube channel because you'll see many tutorials where I feature different kinds of blonding. And there's tons of more value from other educators too on this channel, which is so fun and rewarding to see. If you want to follow me directly on social media, you can find me on Instagram at @low_Wheeler Davis. We'll see you in the next one.